Good evening, friends. This is Arpita here, and today we are talking on Awakening Series Part 9. And in this part, today we are going to talk about you are not your mind. The minute when it comes to mind, there is so many things. We have so many ways of, making the mind in a very progressive manner, making a mind. There are many techniques to make a mind in a system. Making the mind going into silence or making it more effective. There are many therapies. Everything is dealing on relaxing the mind or changing the perception of the mind. Everything is a mind. But basically, we need to first understand that we are not the mind. Okay, this truth, the realization of this truth itself will clear so many things. Now, what is the greatest obstacle to experiencing this reality? What is that in our entire reality, in our three-dimensional plane when we are living the life? What is that the greatest, obstacle which is actually coming into the mind? Why is that we are not able to experience the reality the way it is? It is because identification with the mind. We are identifying everything with the mind. Yes, hello Vishali. We are identifying everything with the mind, and that is the reason that itself is becoming the biggest obstacle. Okay? Now, there is a mental noise. There is a continuous mental noise going on, and when you watch aimlessly, when you really watch aimlessly, how this thinking, this aimless thinking, there is no, whenever you check into your mind, there is a thought which comes, and that thought goes on. There is no aim, there is no goal to it. There is many times, many of our thoughts are just going on. Right? So, and when it is going to the thought and it is becoming, the thinking process itself is becoming compulsive. No, I need to think. If not, how am I make my future? How am I going to make my future? If I don't think, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? It has become, the thinking process itself has become so compulsive. Yes, Anu. Namaste and hi, Satyanarayana. Yeah. So this is what, this mental noise is actually stopping us to listen the inner stillness. Why we need so many techniques to reach our own inner stillness? You have to just stop the mind. And now stopping the mind itself has become a big thing for us, because the thinking itself has become a compulsion. We made it compulsion. It is our own mind which is making, yes, I need to think. If I don't think, then what? We are not connecting to that inner stillness. Inner stillness is, you might have there's this identification, you will be noticing that this is creating an opaque screen. It's a screen of concepts, it's a screen of labels, it's a screen of images, it's a screen of words and judgments, and definitions, and that block all the true relationships. The relationship with self itself is blocked because of the so many labels. If we say, who are you, we are going to give so much big a list. I am so and so, I am so and so, I am so and so, I am so and so. Who am I is not coming at all. Whatever has been labeled, all these labels through the identification of the mind only has come. We are so used to identifying ourselves through the mind. Without mind, we don't know how to identify ourselves. We have forgotten long way back. Right? And now this is like, it is coming between not only you and yourself, it is also coming between you and your fellow travelers also. The people who are traveling along. They're saying, oh, those people are, there are many ways, many systems I keep hearing. The people say, oh no, they are not from India. They're not from our culture. Even within the India, they are not, Bengalis, or they are not, in your Telugu, how did this happen? In our Bengalis, this is going to happen. We are not talking on a human race. We are talking on you and I. The separation is being made. A person, even a person from another culture or another religion, who's been living in the same colony and same your next door all the time, but still says, in your South India, what does this happen? In your North India, how is this happens? Do you in Christians do this? Do you in Muslims do this? We have created, we want to identify everything through the mind, even the humanity also. This is what is coming not only between you and yourself, you and within your own self, it is also coming between you and your fellow travelers also. And you and your nature also. Your nature is lost. The very nature of a human is to be a human with another human. Whether it is another human or another living species or anyone, but the essence of humanity is lost. It is coming in between you and your God also. Today morning, I was watching a beautiful a story in Facebook. Somebody posted it. It was very nice. It was the second time I was watching, but I liked it so much. I thought, let me narrate you. And it is coming, how mind comes between you and your God. There is in a home, there's a small child, and the mother of the child says, now today is grandfather's ceremony, yearly ceremony. Now go to the temple and give this food to that purohit there, pandit there, right? And then the mother sends the child with some 101 rupees and says, this is the dakshina, you give it to that pandit. Now the child goes to the temple and sees the temple is locked. He does not know what to do. He keeps walking outside, and somebody says, and he finds a beggar on the road, and he says, I'm hungry since last 2 days, I want food. And the boy said, no, my mother has told me, because the boy is stuck now. My mother has told it has to give it to the pandit in the temple, and now how do I give it to you? Then he says, why don't you become pandit? It is better, you will get food also, and you will get paid also for it. People on the name of Dakshina, they're going to give money also. So better you become Pandit. Instead of begging, you become a Pandit. And now from there, he goes to a masjid. He goes to on the way back, he didn't know what to do. He goes to the masjid and he sees a person, talking about somebody's coming and telling, and, he finds out, this must be some Pandit. He goes to that person and says, are you the Pandit? Then the man says, no, maybe you have come to a wrong place. That is the temple. Your Pandit will be there. The person immediately understood this. This boy is looking for a Hindu temple or something. Maybe the child has come. Now they said, oh, then you are not the Pandit. And they said, no, I am also like a Pandit, but there is a difference between what you are searching and what I am. Then the child asks, what is the difference? There also it is God, and here also you are saying, what is God? Your God is there. So who is your God? Is your God less powerful? And he said, no, sir, every God is powerful. And then he says, then why, when every God is powerful, then this is for the Pandit of whoever is, dealing with God things. That's all. I'm supposed to give it to it because it is for if you as a Pandit eat, it will reach to my grandfather. That has been, the boy has been taught. Now he says, no, I'm Maulana in this masjid, and you are supposed to go to the so-and-so temple for that Pandit. So I went, the child says, I went there, it was locked. Now I don't know, I can't take this food back, and my grandfather is being hungry, he must be being hungry now. As a Pandit, you are also Pandit, how can you can also eat? There is nice laddus and all, he explains. Then the Maulana is like, he's feeling, says, no, I can't eat that. This is different. Your God is that. My God is this. All these things. Now innocently, the child asks, okay, then what is God? What is Allah? What is this God? What is Hanuman or anything? In my house, the child says, in my house, my teachers, my friends call me by name. By a official name, which is Rahul or some XYZ, okay, the neighbor. And now my mother calls me Bittu, and my father calls me Rocky. So everyone calls me in a different name, but everyone is calling me only. So when I say Krishna or Rama or Allah or anybody, it is the same energy which I am talking about, same God I am talking about, right? Then the Maulana says, yes, that's true. So your Allah and my God will be the same. There's no difference. Is there any difference? then the Maulana understands this child is talking something different. So this is how, why the story is this. The end is obviously, it is everything. When you understand everything, when you go beyond these perceptions of mind, everything is same. But how we have made a separation wall within our own selves, making everything, identifying everything with the mind, thinking it is creating an illusion of separation. Everything is separate. You are separate, I am separate. There is no similar thing. Beyond a point, everything is the same. Everyone is doing the same, but there is a separation because still the mind is working, even at the higher level, in spite of being so spiritual and so this thing. That's why do we never had a question also, even asking why do at all we need so many spiritual organizations in spite of talking the same oneness? Because it is creating the illusion of separation, because everything has to be through the mind. It has become a compulsion for us. This thinking has become a disease. It has become a disease. It happens when things go out of balance. Whenever, this disease happens, whenever some things you're not able to handle something, there are some mind concepts you come into. There are many concepts you will talk. Okay, and if the mind is used, I'm not saying the mind is always wrong and mind is not essential or anything, but you need to know how mind is to be used. If it is used rightly, it is very constructive. It can brilliantly bring up, bend, it can create the bridge from this end to other end. It can bring that oneness back. But if it is not rightly used, it can become destructive. It goes out of balance. Now begin to watch the thinker. Whenever there is a situation in your life, there is a thinker going on. The thinker is always saying, is this right or is that wrong? Sometimes you feel that this is right and sometimes you feel that is wrong. There are so many perceptions which are coming. The one perception says it is right, one perception says it is wrong. So watch this. When you begin to watch this thinker, like you are always, it's like, I'll give you a more simple way. Whenever there is a present situation, every present situation, you are looking at present situation through the eyes of the past. That's the reason we see whenever there is a fight between two people, they will always say things about the past. They will not talk about the present. They will never talk about what now. They will always say, that time, why did you do this? What has happened that, why this has to happen in this way? All these things come up. All about the, past comes out. They are never in the present moment. Because the mind, it will always, if it is not used properly, it will always create the separation. Now, when witnessing is the key, what is the key to come back to the point? It's just witness. You have to, when the person comes in front of you, there are so many, whenever you are coming in front of a person after a long time, probably, there, even a person, very newly you have met a person. Okay. And some people you like a lot and some people you like, it's okay, fine, it's okay going, this kind of feeling. How are these feelings coming? These feelings are coming based on some past which is matching the image that matches with the other person, which is reflecting in the other person, right? The same quality. Now this is the witnessing itself is the key. When you are witnessing every aspect, when you are witnessing everything which is going on, now in this is the beginning and of the end of involuntary and compulsive thinking. When you are witnessing, you are not thinking, because you are just witnessing. Witness is not supposed to think. Witness is supposed to answer yes or no, right? Witness is supposed to say what is just happening at that moment within that frequency of vision, right? So this will be the beginning. When you begin to witness every situation, whatever is happening, without any labels and without any judgment, without any perceptions which you already hold in the mind, that becomes, that slowly becomes, the involuntary and, this compulsion thinking will come to an end, right? And you can also stop the noise which is going on in the head. the noise which is continuously going on in the head, by simply focusing in the now. Whenever you think, there's a mind going on, whenever you are, talking about a situation, or you have to explain anybody about anything, maybe somebody has asked you, what is this? Define so and so, whatever it is. You immediately go to, as an example, you go to some past, some incident. When you stop all this, when you become a witness, you will see every question is as it is answered by self itself. You really don't need to any question anything, because all the answers are right here. Because every question we have put is coming from the perception we have already perceived from the image, whatever we have taken previously. Now, when you become aware of that silence, that absolute silence, but a sense of power, sense of presence, you are there in stillness. That becomes more. That is the reason they say silence is the most powerful thing, which has all the answers in it. There is a voice which is going on inside, and that voice is always in silence. To listen that silence, we need to stop this external noise. Now you have to rise above the thought. Whenever we are rising above the thought, then it is first question, let us ask, rising above the thought, before we go into the point, let us ask ourselves, why should we even addicted to this mind? We want to addict to this mind because there's so many ego states. There's so much rigidity in the mind. We don't want to accept the point the way it is. The false identity is saying there is an identity which in us which says, no, this is right and this is wrong. Now, I don't want to lose my ability to analyze and discriminate, the mind says. There is a rigid mind which says, no, I don't want, why should I not analyze? It's my intelligence. I'm using my intelligence. I'm being constructive. I'm discriminating. I'm analyzing. I wouldn't mind learning to think more clearly. You will say, oh, okay, it is okay. I will learn many things so that, my thinking becomes more clear and more focused way. But you want to think. We need to go on a next stage now as a matter of urgency. We need to go. We can't keep on making the point on the name of learning. We are continuously processing the minds from one perception to other perception. I'll give you a beautiful example here. Once there was a time, there was a short story kind. Once God himself with his assistant, some assistants or his friends or whatever, they've been traveling just to have visited the Earth planet, and they thought, okay, let us see the Earth planet. Then they see so much of people, there's a sector of people, they see this pain, they're suffering, they're crying and they're yelling and screaming and all this. Now along with the God, whoever have come along with him, they say, oh, these people are so painful and all. And the God says, they're living in one thought process. That's the reason that thought process itself is creating the pain. Because they're thinking, I'm in pain. They're saying, I'm in so much pain. So many things have happened to me and I'm in pain. And they will continue to remain in pain. And now they go to another point. Okay, it is the thought process. And now they go to state, the third point, they see the person is so very happy, so very this thing. And say, oh God, then if those people who are screaming and who are yelling and who are suffering in pain and crying in pain are trapped in a thought, then what is this person is who's always joyful and who's always happy and laughing and all this? He is also in a thought. Once the thought is removed, even his presentation, his expression will change. So he is also in a thought. His thought is making him this kind of expression on the face. Their thought is giving this kind of expression on the face. It is only the thought which is getting expressed. It is not their own self, true self, which is getting expressed. Now he says, no, okay. So these two expressions are not actually what they are. Now they keep on going and they see one person sitting in their own silence and with a smile face and Buddha, how we know as Buddha is sitting. And now then the people ask, God, is this the person who is authentic, who is just smiling and not talking anything, is just being there? I said, no, even he's not authentic. And how? He's not expressing anything. He's just being there. in his mind, he is already running a story on the name of some theory. This is what life is, this is what this is what it is. Everything is coming up as in some point or the other. If we have an issue, we go to a person, we say, we go to a person and we say, this is what the issue I have gone through. If you go to a therapist and you say, this is what the issue I'm going through, what do I do? They say, then this must be this so-and-so issue about you. This is called this. This is called this. They do some diagnosis their own way. Even if you go to a doctor, they do some diagnosis and they say, this is what it is. Right? This is how this goes on. The theory goes on. All the universal laws are theories. Most of the time we have dwelled as ourselves in theory, and that is the reason we have so many techniques and so many therapies which are coming to just to keep the mind in stillness, so that the mind stops working. All the effort is put just to making the mind stop. Everything, whether it is a meditation, whether it is breath techniques, whether it is any therapy techniques or any counseling techniques, everything is trying to either change your perception or it is only making you to change the structure of the mind, the process of the mind. But the thing is, you are not the mind. At this situation, this particular life, just to deal with that moment, you need a change. You need a change of a thought. A thought has been given. Right, but we need to go to the next stage. This is not all. We have to go beyond. Learn to witness. The minute you say, I want to stop the mind, it should pause. You can do it. Begin with few seconds. Just for 5 seconds, I am pausing my mind. This moment, this time gap, you were so eager in listening to, wanting to listening something, your minds weren't working. How much time did it take to pause your mind? Just few seconds, just one readiness. Yes, I am stopping. Mind is definitely an essentially a survival mission. I do understand that. We all need to understand that it's a survival mission. We need that. Our attacks, our defense against other minds, and our gathering, storing, and analyzing information. This is all what this mind does, isn't it? The mind is always thinking on some judgments, always trying to attack someone, or either trying to be a defense against another minds which are coming into us, or gathering some information about something. Every time, this is what the mind thinks. You understand, whenever a creative person, a poet, how does he write the poets? Does he thinks anything? No. He goes into the no mind state. An artist, whoever is doing a painting or even in the dance form, any art, any creative person is accessing all the creativity from the place of no mind, inner stillness. They're not working through the mind. They're not mind workers. Even the label has come, we are all light workers. That is also a concept given by mind. We need to go beyond this identification. Identification itself is the biggest block. We want to be identified. Yes, in ground reality, we need to be identified, but beyond a layer, there is no meaning for any identification. This identification is going to give only a separation. This is this border of India, and this is the border of China, this is the border of Pakistan, this border of Afghanistan, this the lines which is creating the separation. It is needed for a discipline to happen. It is needed, but it is not all. It is a piece of a planet, the same piece of land. This also is a piece of land. That also is piece of land. Now, emotions are nothing but, when we talk about emotions, these are nothing but body's reaction to the thought, to the mind. Your body has reacted. Whenever you're feeling emotional, you're being expressed. What is the difference between emotions and feelings? When you are talking about feelings, it is the physically also you are feeling it. There's a physical combination also. That's when emotions are nothing but when you are not feeling anything physically. When you're feeling hungry, even your physical body feels. the pain of hunger, what hunger is, you're physically, but emotions they are the physical reactions for the mind. There's a fear. If you are fearing, your body begins to tremble. Because your body is trembling, you make it, sometimes you think that it's trembling. There's so much of anxiety going on. I'm trembling. Can't you see? I'm trembling. I'm becoming very anxious inside. Because your body is trembling, you are again thinking that you are anxious. Why can't it be excitement? Out of excitement, the body is just losing its balance. Why can't we think that? When it has to think, when it is only about assumption, why can't we assume something very positive? Mind is not just a thought at the same time. It includes emotions as well as the unconscious, the mental, emotional, reactive patterns. Mind is not just a thought. It's not just a simple thought. It is also including all your emotions and the activities which are coming again and again as a reactive patterns. There's a reaction always happening. The minute something happens, you want to think about it. You want to analyze it, but you don't want to do a responsive action. It is a reaction. It's a reactive patterns. Reaction. You are replaying that action. Right. At times there is a conflict. At times, sometimes, when it is like, when emotions arise, when we have the emotions arise where body and mind meet. Even the body is also trembling and mind is also thinking, it's fear. And it is meeting the emotion of fear is coming out. Fear-based emotions have come up. It is the body's reaction to your mind. Right? Now, at times, there is a conflict when mind says no and emotion says yes. And it may happen otherwise also. It can happen the other way. Sometimes you say, I want to go right, and your heart, you want it to be, you are feeling to go into this way, but your mind says, no, I will go this way. Now, we need to understand emotion is a relative truth. It is a relative truth because the minute the perception is changed, okay, even the emotion is changed. Like how I told about the story, the gods have come and they're saying, because of this thought, they're crying. Because of this thought, they're happy. They're laughing. This group is laughing. So this laughter and crying is coming, this emotion is just coming as a relative truth. To this, in relation to whatever is happening at that point of time, with that condition, it is true. But once the condition changes, it is gone. So what is a lie here? The thought is the lie. Every thought is a lie because it keeps changing. It is never constant. And an emotion usually represents an amplified and energized thought pattern. Every emotion, whatever emotion you have, it is usually representing, the energized thought pattern. And because of its often, over-empowering and energetic charge, which is got in that, it is not easy. Initially, it is generally not easy to stay present enough to be able to watch it. Sometimes it takes over. Sometimes we become so emotional and we get carried away. You get so much angry and you are not saying that, it is the anger, the thought related to that emotion. This emotion is coming because of these thoughts in me. And sometimes we even have our own experiences. On one person, sometimes you are very angry on the same person, and within no time, by evening, you are loving that person, the same person. How is it possible? If you don't like a person, you don't like a person. How can the two things happen in one thing? Morning, this emotion has come based on this kind of thoughts, and even this emotion has come based on this event of thoughts, this pattern of thoughts. It is again just a thought. So sometimes it is so overwhelming that you are not able to hold yourself. Either you fight or you jump into some issue, some relationship things. Right? It is so overwhelming. Now, that is the reason it is said, whatever is the emotion, unless and until all the emotions are settled, whether it is painful or happier, whatever is the emotion, till it is settled and till life brings you the situation, never become reactive. When the life is putting a situation in front of you, that means there is something for you to look into it related to your perceptions. So you are responding to whatever has happened, life has put onto you. But it is when you are reacting to your own emotions, you are presenting your own emotions, you are reacting. You are not being responsive. So you are reacting. All these things happen, all this pain and suffering arises through this small desire, or the craving, and this craving is to be what is the craving? You want to be free from whatever is the pain. If you want to be free from whatever pain or suffering you are going through, you must learn how to cut the bonds of desire. There is a bond. You have a desire. You have a fulfilling. You have a desire where you want this. You want to speak to someone. You do not know how to speak to someone. So you try to create the communication based on what interest would be that person would be there in speaking to that. So I'm speaking. I'm developing. I'm making a bridge of communication to that person, so that in such a way, so that the person becomes. Reacts to my points. Everything is a mind. Everything is based on the emotions. Everything is going through the mind, because we are identified with the mind. We are every moment. We don't say that, I'm a soul. We don't say. We will say, who are you? We have to say that I am so-and-so person, born to son of or daughter of so-and-so person, or wife of a husband of so-and-so person, and I belong to so-and-so area. In some nation, this is my nationality, and this is my country, this is all this funda. Because in this three-dimensional plane, we have to see three dimensions. There is a reflection in three ways which are happening. One is the original thing, and one is the shadow effect, and one is exactly how it is reflecting. Shadow reflections, the original reflection, and the original piece. This is three-dimensional. Right? In this three dimension, we are seeing ourselves in three ways. So mind has to come. We have to see ourselves as a spark of our own essence, and we have to see ourselves through the spark of the thought of mind also, and at the same time what you are physically in this point. You are a multidimensional being, no doubt about it, but you are also you are living a particular so and so. You have your own identification also in this world. At the same time, with whatever role you are playing, that also is you. But end of the day, when this role is over, it is not permanent. Whatever role you are playing is not permanent. Whatever emotion you are playing is not permanent. Whatever thought you are thinking, through the identification you are thinking about yourself, that is also not permanent. What is being permanent? When you remove everything, you are just the spark of that intelligence, of that essence. Right? You are just a spark. You are just a light being. That's all. And this light being has got no thought and no experience, no feelings, no role to play. It is beyond identification. That is what we are. So we have to come out of the point as you are not your mind. Just because the mind has become playing a major important role in our life to understand the scenario and to understand, to live our own, the ways of our expressing. We need expression. It is just being expressive through the emotions. That does not mean you are that. Okay, an angry man is unconscious, and happiest man is also unconscious. Okay, when you see a beautiful sunrise, when you are seeing it sunrise, and then you feel, oh my God, the sunrise is so beautiful, and you start analyzing it. Is that the sunlight? No, there are beyond words. That is the reason any creativity comes from the state of no mind. Okay, nothing is different, no thing is different. Okay, so the same way, when you are saying no mind, you are witnessing whatever is coming from the mind, but you are not reacting to everything whatever comes through the mind. You are only witnessing. Witnessing is you have to witness not only every thought, you need to witness the silence also. At this moment, though you are listening so many words which are coming to, being entering your ears, there is also a silence which you are carrying within yourself. Somewhere you are perceiving things. Within this perception, there is the silence. That silence is the witness. You need to witness that silence. When you witness that silence, you are rising beyond this thought. Okay, everything is beyond the thought. It is not like we need to search inside. The concepts are important. The thought process is important. But what is the thought process is doing? Because of the thought process, you are analyzing, you are gathering in information, you are labeling yourself, you are going into the judgments. If it is constructive, it is fair enough. It is constructive, fine. Had this mind would have not been there, then we could have not been evolved so much, which is every gadget, every technology is being made because of the mind only. But we are not just this, we are something much beyond. So when it comes to relationships, handling the relationships or handling our issues happening in life, we need to go beyond the mind. Unless we go beyond the mind, we can really not, it is the desire which is actually making us being there. It is a desire. It is the desire, that's the bond of this desire. It is our attachment towards one desire which is actually making us, we want to, we want to live this kind of life, and we have some perceptions about life. We want to have this life and that life. But when it comes to sleep, even if you sleep on a very king size, good mattress, high rich mattress, it is the same sleep. Or you sleep lie down on a floor, it's the same sleep which is going to come up, because you are going beyond the mind. That is a natural state. Body has already told us to be very in a natural state. Accept everything which comes naturally to you. We are going away from our natural state because the mind has come in between. The mind will always say, oh no, I have to keep my body very wonderful, and I need AC, I need cozying things, I need very cozy, I need comfort, I need this, I need that, and you are attached. It is not that you need, it is your desire which is saying that you need it. But without that also you had lived before. Right now, the corona is going on so much. Everyone is saying, how am I going to live at home? I can't live all the time at home. Earlier, what did we do? Earlier, we didn't have so much of gadgets. We lived at home. We learned how to be with the family. We learned how to communicate with them. We have done so many things. Now, we have made our identification with this kind of lifestyle or anything. Our mind is totally going in a destructive form. Somewhere in the process of being constructive, we are becoming destructive towards something else. We have destroyed our own selves in the process of constructivity. On the verge of, in the thought process of being constructive, we have already destroyed ourselves in a major point. We need to mind. That is what mind does. Mind is either constructive, in some way it is being constructive, in some other point it is being destructive. We need to understand that witnessing is the only thing. We have to witness everything. Let life give you the points. Life put you in a situation where now all the creativity which is there, which has been coming through your mind, make it constructive. How do you make your mind only constructive without any destruction? When you respond to however life puts you naturally. Naturally, life has put you into a point and you are reacting to it. It is fine. You are not being separated by your nature. You are close along with your nature. But when you are working onto the mind only and going beyond the nature, things will go in a different form. Okay. Always we need to understand that we are beyond our minds. We are not just the mind. We are not our mind. You are not your mind. This has to be, we are much beyond. We need to raise above that thought. Everything is because of the bond we have towards these desires and these wishes. There is an incompletion which is taking place in that, ruling us completely. And what is giving the completion? It is the inner stillness. And how do you connect back to your inner stillness? Just by witnessing and not being reactive. You can be responsive towards anything, but you cannot be reacting. Reacting is nothing but the word itself says when you are reacting, it is like the same thing. It's like a Xerox. We have in Play Store, Google Play Store, we have that, there's a talking Tom. If you say hello, the Tom also says hello. If you say hi, the Tom also says hi. That is what a reaction. Reaction, you are replaying everything. But when you are responding, when another person says hello, you say, yes, I'm good. Hi, hello. It is responsive, right? This is how you go to. When you respond to life, life also responds to you. But when you are working through the mind, when you are trying to look everything with an identification, you are only reacting. That is why we say a person who comes into our life is just reflecting what is inside. Because everyone is in a reaction mode. Because we all are basically working on the mechanism of this identification. We are identified with something all the time. And this identification itself is the biggest obstacle. It is not allowing us to go deep inside into our own silence, into our own stillness. And how do we come out of all this? Is just by witnessing and accepting everything the way it comes to us, and witness every thought and every emotion which is flowing inside us. Just witness for a while, and after a moment you will see everything slows down and everything dissolves and the reality comes out. Okay, so this little I wanted to share with you, that you are not your mind with this topic. And tomorrow at 7 o'clock, again, we'll meet with a new topic again. Thank you, friends. See you all tomorrow again, 7 p.m. sharp. Thank you.